Welcome to the Vari Longmuir Podcast, episode number 17. Welcome to the Vari Longmuir Podcast, and as you may have guessed, I'm your host, Vari. Since stepping away from the 9-to-5 world back in 2009, I've been a creative director, illustrator, artist, business mentor, and coach to fellow creative types. The intention with this podcast is to offer a fresh perspective about what it really means to be a working creative. I'm offering simple strategies to add a little more joy to your days and sharing my own insights and lessons learned, often the hard way, from over a decade of being my own boss. Now let's get into today's episode. Hi guys, it's Vari here. Welcome to this week's podcast. What I want to teach in this week's episode is this concept of wanting what you already have. Now, I can hear a collective, what? Why would we spend any time wanting what we already have? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. Here's the thing. When we want something, maybe it's a certain number of clients or buyers of our artwork, maybe it's an amount of money in the bank every month, we might want a car or a house or a partner, whatever it is, when we want these things, so often we hold ourselves back from getting them because we want from a place of not yet having. We want these things from a place of scarcity and from a place of lack. But that's not how the universe works. Dr. Wayne Dyer said it perfectly when he said, "We get what we are, not what we want." Now, this can be a bitter pill to swallow. I know when I first came across this idea, I was a bit annoyed and pissed off. There are all these things that I want, and now you're telling me that I need to be this first. How can I be it before I have it? Again, great question, Vari. We get what we are, not what we want, means that we need to be in the energy of the thing that we want before we can create that in our life. When you look around at your life today, all the things in your life, the people, the job, the clothes, the business, the car, the house, the relationship, all these things are manifestations of what you have been thinking. All these things are a vibrational match to who you have been and who you are now. If you want evidence of your thinking and your beliefs, you just have to look around at your life today. When we look at all the things that we want these things because we think we'll feel a certain way when we get them. The things themselves are actually completely neutral. We want clients because we think it'll make us feel successful. We want the perfect partner because we think it'll make us feel loved. We want the promotion because we think it'll make us feel appreciated. But all these things, the clients, the partner, the promotion, are completely neutral. The only thing that has the power to create these feelings within us, these feelings of success, the feeling of love, the feeling of appreciation, are our thoughts about the things. How we choose to think about the clients creates the emotion of success. How we choose to think about the partner creates the emotion of being loved. How we choose to think about the promotion creates the emotion of appreciation. Promotion and emotion, nice rhyme. The only thing that causes us to feel any kind of emotion is the thoughts that we have about the situation, about the neutral circumstance. Think about it. The neutral circumstance of having more clients might have you feeling successful. Perhaps you've not got a full client list. Maybe you don't have any clients yet. So more clients to you equals success. But to someone else, Having this same situation, having more clients, might have them feeling something completely different from successful. They might feel overwhelmed. They might have a full client list and they might be on the verge of burning themselves out by overworking. So, that neutral circumstance of having more clients would not equal success for them, but rather produce the feeling of overwhelm or panic within them. The difference is in the thinking. The feeling is produced by how we choose to think about these things. So, how does that tie into wanting what we already have? Wanting things from a place of lack and a place of scarcity produces negative thoughts. We want them from a place of not having them. We think that we need these things in order to be happy, in order to feel the good feelings. Here's a little trick I like to teach my clients. It's great to want things. If you have listened to this podcast for a while or you're familiar with my work, you'll know that I am all for setting goals and getting them done. But we need to want from a place of abundance, from a place of not being needy and desperate for them. Do this exercise now. Get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. Now, on the left-hand side, I want you to write 10 things that you want. They can be anything at all. It might be a house, the overseas trip, the family, $1 million in the bank, whatever you want. Put it on that list on the left-hand side. Then on the right-hand side, I want you to write 10 things that you want and already have. Let me give you some examples. Some things that I want and I already have are 2 healthy boys. I also want and already have an amazing relationship as a co-parent with my ex-husband. I want and already have a house by the beach with bay views. I want and already have an amazing relationship with my guy that is incredibly connected but very independent. You see, wanting what we already have is a way of practicing appreciation and gratitude for what we do have in our lives already, for what we've already created. Okay, so now you've got your 2 lists. On a separate piece of paper, I want you to write all 20 things in one long list. So one thing from each list in turn. So pick the first thing from the left-hand side, something that you want but don't yet have, and write that at the top. Then on the next line, pick something from the right-hand side of the list, something that you want and you already have. Keep going until you've got all 20 things on one combined list. This combined list has so much potential within it. It's easy for us to have appreciation for the things that we want and already have. This appreciation comes from a place of abundance. Creating this little abundance sandwich, as I like to call it, by placing the things we want but don't yet have in between the things that we want and we do already have, helps us to create more positive feelings about the things that we don't yet have. It elevates the energy for all the things that we want and don't yet have and makes it infinitely more likely that we'll create them in our life. I encourage you to take some time today to do this exercise. Create a list of your 10 wants that you don't have, and then 10 wants that you already have, and then combine them together. Keep this list handy and read over it on a daily basis. I've got my list in the front of my journal and I read it each night when I go to bed. It's a super effective way of training our brain to become more intentional in its thoughts. We're going to think thoughts and we're going to develop beliefs consciously or subconsciously. And like a toddler, if it's left to its own devices, this beautiful brain of ours will go off and do its own thing. It'll continue to think thoughts that it's thought before and reaffirm past beliefs because it likes the path of least resistance. It likes to do what it's done before. This exercise is a fantastic way to practice being more intentional with our thoughts and get used to thinking these new thoughts and developing these new beliefs. Appreciating what we already have creates more gratitude and more abundance in our lives. It's from here that we become what we want. And as Dr. Dyer said, we get what we are, not what we want. That's all for this week, guys. For updates, be sure and subscribe to my newsletter over at varilongmuir.com and come follow me on Instagram. I'm at Vari Longmuir. Thanks as always for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. If you enjoyed this podcast and you're ready to dive in deeper to create a business and life with intention, I would love to chat with you. Each month, I offer a limited number of discovery calls. I like to think of these as a casual first date. It's an opportunity for us to connect, for me to find out what's going on in your business and your life at the moment, and see if we're a good fit to coach together. These calls are completely free and with zero obligation. And I know from every single person I talk to, they leave with more clarity and more focus, whether they go on to work with me or not. So it's a win-win. There is literally nothing to lose. For more information and to book our virtual coffee date, head on over to varilongmuir.com/coaching.